The narrow square toe or cutter toe cowboy boot is now the trendiest cowboy boot toe shape on the scene, thanks to the fact that it has gained popularity among rodeo athletes, due in part to the fact that it has a more narrow toe shape and higher heel for use in the stirrups. If you've been following me for a while, I called this trend way back in 2022 after I visited the WESA conference for cowboy boots and western wear. There were narrow square toes everywhere, and it seemed like they were going to be trending within the next year or two. Maybe it took 3 because the cowboy boot scene is just a little bit slower, but here we are. They are so trendy. So if you haven't followed yet, subscribed, and done all the things, what are you waiting for? I call this stuff years ahead of time. So with the toe shape being so popular and it being prime cowboy boot season, I figured it was a good time to go through all of the cutter toe boots that I have or have done videos on in the past and just rank them all from worst to first. I'm ranking 10 narrow square toe or cutter toe cowboy boots with the same ranking method that I've used before on a scoring range of 1 to 5 of how the boots are built. You get a higher score if it's more traditionally made because traditionally made boots are objectively better, and 1 is the most modern made score. I made a video about more modern made boots and traditionally made boots, so if you're interested in the differences, just go check out that video. There's also scoring on value and how the price is reflective of the boot's qualities. There's also a sizing score based on how many width sizes are available, a design score, and a completely subjective spiritual experience score ranking how blissful it is to wear the boots. I'm sure many of you will have passionate feelings about this ranking, and that's fine with me because the angrier that you get, the better the videos seem to perform. So I'm looking forward to all of the "you're not a cowboy" comments and "what about Takova's" questions, to which I respond, take it or leave it. I got a pair of boots that I made at Custom Cowboy Boot School here, so I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. And as far as Takova's is concerned, don't buy them. They're overpriced and overrated. So with that said, let's start with 10 and work our way up to 1. Coming in at the bottom of the barrel here at number 10 are these Watson Benedictine boots. These were the most disappointing boots that I've probably ever tried. My expectations for this brand was really high. I was very excited to try these boots, but it was just a lazy construction with lazy lasts on the cutter toe. You want a cutter toe to be nice and crisp, kind of like this, right? You want it to be nice and crisp, no wrinkles, but on these Watson boots, there was wrinkles. And I would say that's not an effect of them being handmade. That's just an effect of that lazy construction. Also, the heel cap just came off after little to no wear at all. So I was kind of disappointed to the fact that I had to take them into repair before I even got to really break them in. Plus, there's inconsistent wood pegs and brass nail usage, which when I got the boots, it was during the pandemic, and there was a wood pegs shortage during the pandemic, but they didn't communicate that. And in the 2 boots that I got for that video, they were very different using brass nails and wood pegs. They're kind of in the middle of the modern and traditionally made range, so they got a 3 for that. And the value, kind of lower than average just because I had to take them in for repair sooner than I wanted to, and they also had that lazy, wrinkly construction. For sizing, they have a little bit more than above average. Average is 2, so they come in with an extra width size, which is nice. Design-wise, like I said, lazy quality there. Spiritual experience, kind of average, nothing really special. They were kind of just a disappointment through and through, so I would like to try them again at some point, but I'm not really hurrying to do so. Watson comes in at 10. Coming in at number 9 is the Chisos No. 2. This has a nice narrow square toe that's been around for much longer than what it's been trending for, which is kind of cool. They were ahead of the game there. This is actually a tie for number 8, but I don't have the Chisos anymore. I gave them to my nephew, so these lose the tiebreaker and come in at number 9. They have a high build score, mostly traditionally made now, but they were a little bit misleading in the marketing, as we found out early in the year when Thomas Barrett of Siller Boot and Shoe and I collaborated on a video comparing their build with Ariat Benchmade boots, and we found that they were very similar. In the heel counter of the Chisos, they use a half piece of leather heel counter with a celastic backing, but they just marketed it as being a leather heel counter. So when we had presented that in our video, our criticisms were then validated when just about 6 months later, they released a updated boot with a double heel counter, which is actually just 2 half pieces now. And their friends over at Rose Anvil gave them a glowing review because Chisos and Rose Anvil love to scratch each other's backs on a regular basis. But don't thank Thomas and me, for finding that out. We're fine not getting any thanks. We're just happy that the boots were updated and that our content made a difference. On top of that, I've had plenty of glue problems with Chisos. The sole has separated from the welt well before they needed to be resoled with a hole in the sole. So overall, I think they're overpriced for what you get. Sure, they can be nice and comfy thanks to their insole if you get the right size, but I'm super skeptical of them now after finding out the inconsistencies with their promotion and what we found during that teardown video. They lost my trust. I believe them to be overpriced, and they don't have that many sizes, which is why they come in so low on this list. Coming in at number 8, which I have all the rest of the boots now, is the Ariat Futurity Bama Fury boot. Just check out this narrow square toe, cutter toe boot. It's a little bit more narrow than a lot of the other ones on here. Almost snip toe, but not quite. These rank pretty low on the build score just because they use a foam footbed in here. There's not a leather heel counter, and there's also a robust leather heel here, which is not a true stacked leather heel. But the value score really puts these over the top since at the time of this recording, they're coming in at around $239 over at Ariat.com. They're on sale right now with lots of sizes too. So the fact that they're coming in at $239 is kind of impressive for a boot like this. So they score a little bit higher on the value category. They have lots of sizes, like I said, even including narrow sizes. The design is cool. The leather is kind of distressed a little bit, and I like the contrast with the forest green tops, but the robust heel here just stands out. I really don't like when brands use robust heels that don't match the leather outsole. It's just a extra color that doesn't really make much sense to me. It's purely cost savings. Also, I feel like the side seam on the inside could have been trimmed down a little bit more. I had some issues with some rubbing against my ankle down here when I first got them, but then I just put some wide stuff down here. You could use a softball and sort of spread this out a little bit, and then as I continued to wear them after that, I don't have that problem anymore, but still, it's not a problem you should have in the first place. So, not a huge fan of the side seam out of the box, but for the price of $239, I feel like it's okay. I'm not really ever excited to wear this boot, but I like how they look for that price. Coming in at number 7 is this Ariat boot with the longest name ever. It is called the Ariat Futurity Relentless Buckles Full Quill Ostrich boot. It's such a long name. I don't know why Ariat does this, but I really like the gray color here. Also, the cutter toe is just a little bit wider than that Bama Fury. It looks really good. And on top of that, this has a little bit higher of a quality build score just because it does have that stack leather heel. And you can kind of see what I was talking about with that last example. This leather matches the leather of the sole, so it is much more pleasing to look at than a light brown, dark brown, and then a different color up here. There's just too much colors when you add a robust heel on a boot like that. For the brown colors anyways. Other than that, they have a similar build to the Bama Fury. They have a foam footbed and a composite heel counter. They have lots of sizes for this boot too, but the sizing is inconsistent. I also have the green color of this boot, and that boot fits much more snug than this one. And that could be because it's just a quality of Ostrich altogether. Ostrich fibers, they kind of go every which way, and that could lead them to stretch in different direction. I have a video about talking with custom bootmakers about how much they hate working with Ostrich just because you never know what it's gonna do. So how they get over that is they crimp the leather, which is stretching the leather before you actually stretch it to make a boot, which takes all the stretch out of it so you know exactly what to expect. But factories don't crimp leather. So when you stretch it over a boot, it could be looser, it could be tighter in areas, and that goes for all leather, but especially Ostrich leather. But still, I like the color combination here between the gray and the blue. It looks really good, and I end up wearing this a lot just because it is just a little bit different and unique from many of my other boots. I very much like how it looks, and I enjoy wearing it kind of frequently. And on top of that, the price is pretty much just market average for what it is. So the Ariat Futurity Relentless Buckles Full Quill Ostrich boot comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is the Durango PRCA Collection Full Quill Ostrich boot. Gotta love that cutter toe here. These have the exact same score as the last Ariats, but I like how these fit and feel just a little bit better. There's no removable insole on this one. They do have a thin insole in here with a leather midsole to kind of beef up what they lost by making the insole just a little bit thinner. And I can feel just a little bit less cushion in this, and it honestly gets closer to a traditionally made cowboy boot feel, even though these are still pretty much in between a traditional and modern made boot. So I like how it feels being closer to the ground, feeling the ground a little bit more. I'm not a huge fan of the super cushioned removable insoles, so I appreciate the fact that Durango didn't do that on this and made it pretty thin so you could feel the ground. That said, depending on your preferences, it could go either way. So if you like more cushion, then the Ariat is probably gonna be better for you. If you don't like more cushion, then it's the Durango. So just flip-flop these. They're pretty much the same kind of boot, just a little bit different feel depending on your preferences. But still, this is a step up for Durango. Usually they make budget boots that use cost-saving methods all over the place, and honestly, it's just been kind of junk. But this is a step up through and through for the brand, and definitely the best Durango that I've ever tried for sure. So I've been impressed in that respect that this is a Durango. Every time I put this on, I'm like, that's a fun boot to wear. And then I think to myself, this is a Durango though. It comes in just like the Ariat at the market average for price as well. So that comes in at number 6. If you'd like even more content about cowboy boots and the music I make, you're really gonna like this. I just launched a brand new membership program on my website, and it's basically the ultimate way to get a deeper dive into everything that I do. You'll get extra boot content like early looks at new reviews, behind the scenes videos, exclusive live streams, and more. Plus, you'll get lots more of the music side too, like unreleased songs, videos, first access to merch, and lots more. It's just a fun way for us to connect and to keep this whole boots and ballads thing going. So if it sounds like your vibe, head on over to jeremiahcraig.com/membership and sign up for your preferred tier. There's lots of options. Now let's get back to the ranking. Coming in at number 5 is the Fenoglio Black Victoria Roughout cowboy boot. I've worn this one a lot when I got it, but I've started to wear it less and less over the past couple years just from trying so many other boots, and it's getting lost in the rotation, which I'm sure it says something about this boot, but I'm just not sure what. This is the first US-made boot that I'm featuring in this ranking video, and it has a very unique outsole. This is what they call their Ranch Tough outsole, and it's basically a rubber gum. So it has the durability of a rubber outsole, so it's going to be very long lasting, but it has the traction of a leather outsole, so it's a little bit more slippy, which could be good for those folks working on the ranch, depending on what you're doing. Fenoglio has a ton of sizes. I'm talking from like A to double E widths. So they have all the old Nakona lasts. So if you need a special size, Fenoglio can get it for you, which is a huge value. One thing that I'm not a huge fan of with Fenoglios is that their heel counter is pretty flimsy. You know, as you can see here, I can squeeze it really easy when I shouldn't be able to make this much of a dent in a heel counter. You want a really stiff heel counter back here because it is the support system for the entire boot. So I would like to see them have a little bit more of a durable heel counter back here because, you know, if this starts to sag, if it starts to lean, then that means these boots pretty much become not usable anymore. You want that support system. So I think that's pretty much the reason why it's starting to score a little bit lower recently for me, and why I haven't been wearing it as much, just because, you know, it has a pretty flimsy heel counter. And for my uses, the rubber outsole is a little bit more slippy than what I would like a rubber outsole to be in my life. Usually I want something a little bit more grippy when I want a rubber outsole, but I can see how this would be a huge benefit for cowboys or those on the ranch who want less traction but a stronger durability in an outsole. Still, they're a decent value for a US made boot, and their Ranch Tough outsole is very unique to other brands. It's the Fenoglio Black Victoria Roughout coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the Horsepower Tophand 9500. I just keep coming back to this boot so frequently. The narrow square toe looks so good. The fit and feel is incredible. It's built pretty much the same as the Ariat Bama Fury before, but this fits better. It looks better. It has the same amount of sizes, but it also has this hybrid outsole. Check that out. So this little strip of rubber is where the sole sees the most wear. So that means this boot keeps its lightweight nature of being a leather outsole, but it has a longer wear closer to what a rubber outsole boot would have. Plus, this is a great value too, coming in at around $300. But I have a code that you can save 10% over at cartersboots.com that brings us down to $270. And when you compare that to similarly made Tecovas boots for $345 that doesn't have a hybrid sole, and there's more sizes for the horsepower boot, it's a no-brainer. So I think this boot is a great value. If you're looking for something good under $300 that has lots of sizes, and it just looks good all around. I don't know how Horsepower is doing it, but it seems like they are making boots that even look better from their brother brand, Anderson Bean boots. Like, I'm liking the look of Horsepower boots over Anderson Bean these days. That's how good Horsepower Tophand is doing. So that's why they come in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 are Blackjack Rattlesnake boots. Blackjack is some of the best factory-made boots that you can get. They make any size you want. Their outsoles are around 11 to 12 iron, which means they're really thick and super durable. They are traditionally made boots right here in the US. And these ones specifically are Eastern Diamondback Rattlesnake boots, which is a little bit tougher to come by than Western Rattlesnake boots. See, there's a season for Eastern Diamondback, and Blackjack can only get so many skins every season, so the wait list for a boot like this can be pretty long. On top of that, this boot now comes with a price tag that's over $1,000. Still, I have a promo code over at timsboots.com that can save you 10%, which gets these close to or back under $1,000. But the rarity and uniqueness of this leather does bring it down in value points to me when you compare it to other snakeskin options. So other snakeskins will be cheaper, like Python. But just look at this. Just look at this pattern. I mean, how can you argue with that? Still, the value alone kind of just brings it down a little bit. And that's why these are ranked at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is another Blackjack boot. It's the Blackjack Pirarucu boots. Oh, and I'm just noticing now that maybe I might need a resole on these because I wear them so much. I love them. I love these boots. Ditto on everything from the last Blackjack boots, except for the leather. This Pirarucu fish skin is why this boot is ranked higher than the Rattlesnake. Pirarucu is so breathable, it's so supple, and it's super comfortable. It's also just a little bit thicker than what you might expect, thicker than snakeskin, so it does make these more durable than snakeskin for sure. More durable than cowhide? No, not really, but still more durable than snakeskin, which isn't saying much, I guess, but still. A lot of people think that this is a super fragile leather. It's not really, and a lot of people think that when you get them wet, it ruins them. I proved that wrong in a video that I did months ago on this channel, so they are more durable than a lot of people think. Plus, they're super soft and super comfortable. The leather outsole does take a little bit longer to break in just because it is a 11 to 12 iron, so they feel super stiff out of the box, but they do break in, and it's super worth it when you do get them broken in. I absolutely love this boot. I love the color of it. This is one of my all-time favorite boots, and it does come in with a higher price tag as well, just because Blackjack is such a high-quality boot, and it's using such a interesting exotic leather. It's just under $1,000, but again, I have a promo code that you can use over at timsboots.com that will save 10% on this boot, and it is a custom special order, so I kind of designed the qualities of this boot myself, so if you're interested in getting the exact same pair, just contact timsboots.com and tell them you want one just like mine, and they will make sure that you get it just like mine. Love these boots so much. That's why they come in at number 2, and you'll see why they come in at only number 2 next. Coming in at number 1 are my Schwartz custom boot school boots that I made out in Dillon, Montana at Schwartz Custom Boots. I mean, just check out how crisp and clean that cutter toe looks. That's what it should look like. Now, technically, in the custom cowboy boot world, this is called a box toe. And you can have different widths for a box toe, but technically, the cutter toe, the narrow square toe, the box toe, for this video, they're all the same. Factories make them differently than the custom cowboy boot shops do, and I can get into that in another video if you're really interested in the differences, but for this video, we're gonna say that they're the same thing. So, I love this boot. Guys, this was measured to me. So Dan Schwartz, custom boot maker at Schwartz Custom Boots, measured my foot, and then I created the last using those measurements. So this is a true custom fitting cowboy boot. It uses bison leather on the foot and counter and a green goat skin top with bone colored goat skin inlays and overlays and along the side seam as well. Technically, they're calling this green droop, but I really hate that color name. So I just call it green. What kind of color name is droop? There is no comparison to anything on this list when it comes to this, so I know it might be kind of a disappointing number 1 for everybody watching. Or maybe it's encouragement to go to Schwartz Custom Boot School yourself and make your own pair of narrow square toe cowboy boots. This is traditionally made through and through. In fact, it's built using some pretty strong methods. We got some reinforcements in here with an extra piece of leather in the top to keep it from sagging too much, which is especially helpful because goat does sag quite a bit, so this is going to stay upright for its entire life. I love the punchy heel here. It's a little bit taller and it has a more underslung angle to it. Punchy just means cool if you're wondering, and it's a little bit taller, which I enjoy. I probably made a little bit of a mistake while I was stretching the top. Might have stretched it out too much, made it a little bit too wide, but that's okay. I can live with it. I'm going to be making a complete video of my experience making these boots that will be available to the memberships that I explained earlier. So if you're interested in seeing that video, be sure to sign up and get your membership today so you know exactly when it drops. It will also be available to rent for non-members, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be as good of a deal as if you just signed up for the membership in the first place. So sign up for the membership and you'll be able to see the video of me making these boots soon. That's my ranking. That is my ranking. What do you think? Are you disappointed? Do you think it was fair, unfair? Either way, thanks for making it this far in the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment, and while you're down there, subscribe so I can see you in the next one. Appreciate your time today, and I'll see you around. Peace. Get to know the cutter toe, wear for work or wear for show. Look so good wherever you go, so get to know the cutter toe. Thanks so much for watching today. Why don't you check out this other cowboy boot video up here? Or I got a music video down here I think you might enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe up here, and I will see you next time. Peace. Have a good one.